Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I already need a little sip of coffee. All right, we'll see if that clears my voice up a little bit. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are watching this. This will be your weekly reading for the week of July 20th through the 26th. During that time, we'll have a waning crescent moon, and that's a really good time of surrender, rest, and healing. As we come off that high intense energy of the full moon, and that moon starts to wind down into the new moon, which happens on the 25th, which of course is a good time for a fresh start, new beginnings, a good time to learn new things or start new projects, that sort of thing. So keep those moon energies in mind, Leo, as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Leo. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is show the world the real you. I feel like Leo has had that card before because I want to be a little snarky and be like, well, when does a Leo not show the real them? Because that's pretty Leo, right? No hiding that energy. When it comes to a Leo, there's usually no doubt about who you are. So anyway, my weekly reminder this week, Leo, is that you get out into nature. So this would be find a place to take a hike, find a park to walk in, take a walk in the woods maybe, but pay attention to nature and maybe, study something a little longer than you might normally. This could be animals, maybe you're going to feed some ducks or feed some birds, maybe look at a plant a little longer than you would if I don't know if you're into the mushroom thing, but there's a weird thing with, I'll just talk about this for a minute, about mushroom awareness, that sometimes, like when you notice a mushroom, all of a sudden you see them everywhere when you're walking in the woods. This has been my experience, that I didn't see those before. Now that I'm aware of them, they're everywhere. So just kind of pay attention and see what jumps out at you in nature. And just see it as kind of a battery charger. It's just a really good way to rejuvenate yourself for the week in this time of rest and meditation. Nature's a great way to do that. All right, I'll quit babbling now. We'll get to this reading, Leo. July 20th through 26th. Show the world the real you. Let's see what is going on in the world of Leo for the week. All right, Leo, your overall present energy right now. Okay, a little bit sad, a little bit grief about something, a little bit, maybe annoyed and just sad. But remember, you have support at your back. What is it that you've been going through that that's just making you maybe a little sad, a little frustrated? Fives are about conflict. It's about a little bit of struggle. So there's something that you do appear to be sad about. Let's see what that might be. Your current situation is the Chariot. So thinking about making some sort of move on something. You're in information gathering mode and probably brought on by something's making you sad or upset that you have to make a move. So you're gathering information. Again, you're going to show the world the real you. We're going to see how that comes out as we go through this reading. At the root of this is the 10 of Pentacles. So I see the 10 as kind of thinking about the future when it comes to wealth security. So there's something in the material world that's causing you to want to make some sort of movement or change. So again, you're in information gathering mode right now. You may not make a decision on it this week. You may, but we're kind of in that information gathering mode. In your recent past is the High Priestess, which comes through as this is a card of mystery. This could be that you've been working on something that that your intuition has been playing a part on. That it's just like the universe works in mysterious ways, right? So something is going on with you that's maybe in the material world, but it first kind of came out in the spiritual world. Maybe you had a dream about something that you're going through. Maybe there's some sort of intuition or something. There's something at play here that was in your past that's kind of causing you to think, yeah, I need to make this change and I need to do it. So what's on your mind this week? Okay, so maybe, you're feeling like a little bit of a victory. It could be just an internal victory that, okay, I finally made a decision. I've made a decision you've been gathering this information. You may make this decision and feel good about it. You're going to feel like, okay, this is the best decision for me at this time. And I feel good about it. I feel confident, and the people around me are kind of celebrating the fact, I'm showing the world the real me, and I'm getting celebrated for that. What is just ahead of you this week is the Knight of Wands. So some sort of action in the way of something that you're passionate about. You're going to make some sort of action, some sort of maybe decisions again as you're gathering information. But it looks like little decisions along the way that have to do with so many elements. I mean, not only does it have to do with your intuition, but it's also things that drive you in the passion realm, but also it has something to do with your material world. So however that might come together, of course, it might be different for different Leos. It could be that you're making a decision about a job for some of you, something that you're passionate about. It could be that you're making a decision about something tangible in the material world, maybe, a vehicle or your apartment, or, something having to do with the place where you live. But you're gathering information, even I think, before you make that decision. In your advice position is the Five of Swords. So it looks like some words are exchanged and there is more conflict here. Didn't we start off with a five? Yeah, 2 5. So you may want to look up angel number 55, see if that makes any sense to you in your week and what you're going through right now. It may speak to you on some terms, but because this is in your advice position, this is say the thing that needs to be said. There might be feelings hurt, there might be but you do need to speak up. Again, show the world the real you when it comes to this. So use your words, and let people know exactly how you feel, how you think about things. What is beyond your control this week, Temperance, is that you just remain calm, right? Remain balanced, take that, as soon as I see this card, I take a big deep breath. This is about, really just practicing the balance inside yourself. This is, when you need to take a moment, and maybe if there's some conflict or whatever, and you're kind of biting through your teeth, take that breath and show the world that you can practice patience and calm and being very even keeled, and maybe even with your words. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak. So of course, I hope that's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid disappointment by making the right decision. Who are you trying to please this week? Are you pleasing you, or are you pleasing others? Make sure that you know that. Make sure you're asking yourself that. Who am I trying to please here? Because really, in the end, you're trying to please yourself, unless you're, of course, you want to be sensitive to the thoughts and feelings of other people around you. But when it comes to some certain decisions, it's really none of their business. It's about pleasing yourself. So you're probably trying to avoid that sort of thing, which I don't blame you. I would too. In your outcome position is, some sort of conclusion here that you're going to reach. You're reaching some sort of ending, something you're done. And I do feel like, even though you're gathering information for most of the week, you will make a decision by the end of the week, and you're going to move forward, and you're going to be fine. It's showing the world the real you, which again, I've never, most Leos don't have an issue with that. Let's see what's hidden from you at the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. That is hidden from you. So this is your knowledge about the material world is a little bit hidden from you. I would say that, to me, what this says is that there may be others around you that you may consult that have a little more experience in whatever this is that you're dealing with. And that's fine. That's fine. It's fine to go ahead and listen, and to learn, and to keep this temperance about you this week, Leo. So, all right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Leo as they go through this move and gather information on something that perhaps appears to be material. There's a lot involved here. There's communication and passion and intuition, but it does appear to be materially related. All right, final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message: begin to explore, which I feel like you're doing that. I feel like you've been exploring, but maybe that just means open your mind a little bit more to exploring something there. Let's see what is going on with the self-care wisdom cards. What kind of self-care does Leo need to engage in this week, July 20th through the 26th for Leo. All right. Speak up. And this card says, if you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. Yeah, that's this 5 right here. I mean, you definitely have to speak what's on your mind, but you can do it in a temperance mode. You can do it while being calm and balanced. And, because you're trying to avoid just being so frustrated. And this is, it's the swords, even though the swords are going through a heart, it is mental excuse me, mental energy. Those are thoughts that it's just disappointing in your head. And I think you're trying to avoid that. So yeah, so you might need to just engage in that conflict, but do it in a temperate way so that is that even a word? I have to look that up. Do it in a balanced way so that people's opinions are being heard, but you're definitely being able to speak your own mind there. Grab a drink of water. I'm sorry, coffee. As my voice wants to, and you know what's funny, speak up. Anytime if I feel like my own thread is closing during a reading, I feel like that's just an intuitive thing about you speaking your mind. So speak your mind this week, Leo. I think you really do need to do that. So Leo, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. Again, it looks like you're in information gathering mode, but I think you'll reach a decision. But speak your mind, speak your opinion this week. As you maybe even work with someone who's older and wiser. Just voice your opinions, but do it in a not harsh manner, right? Let's do it in a nice, even keeled way. So if you like my reading style, Leo, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, but most importantly, it'll help you find me next week where you can come back and we'll see if you've made a decision and then where we're going there. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Good luck with all of this. Bye-bye.